My dear fellow, whom do I see? Ivan Vasilievich. I'm extremely glad. Now this is a surprise. How are you?
Thank you, and how are you getting on?
I just get along somehow, to your prayers and so on. Sit down, please do. Now, you know you shouldn't forget all about your neighbors, my dear fellow. Why are you so formal in your get-up? Evening dress, gel, gloves, and so on? Are you going anywhere?
No, I've only come to see you, Stepan.
Then why are you in evening dress, as if you're paying a New Year's Eve visit?
Well, you see, it's like this. I've come to you, honored Stepanovich, to trouble you with a request. Not once or twice have I already had the privilege of applying to you for help, and you have always, so to speak, I must ask your pardon. I'm getting excited. Shall I drink some water?
He's come to borrow money. Shan't give him any. What is it, my dear?
You see, honored Stepanovich, I beg your pardon. I'm awfully sorry. As you will please notice, in short, you alone can help me, though I don't deserve it, of course. I haven't any right to count on your assistance.
Oh, don't go round and round it. Spit it out. Well,
one moment. This very minute. The fact is, I've come to ask the hand of your daughter, Natalia, in marriage.
By Jove, Ivan Vasilievich, say it again. I didn't hear it all.
I have the honor to ask.
My dear fellow, I'm so glad and so on. Yes, indeed, and all that sort of thing. I've been hoping for it for a long time. It's been my continual desire, and I've always loved you, my angel, as if you were my own son. May God give you both his help and his love and so on. And I did so much hope. What am I behaving so idiotically for? I'm off balance with joy, absolutely off my balance. Oh, with all my soul. I'll go and call Natasha and all that.
Honored Spinach, do you think I can count on her consent?
Why, of course, my darling, and as if she won't consent. She's in love. Egad, she's like a lovesick cat and so on. Shan't be long.
It's cold. I'm trembling all over, just as if I got an examination before me. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk a lot, to look for an ideal, or to keep real love, then I'll never get married. Natalia, she's an excellent housekeeper. Not bad looking. Well educated. What more do I want? But I'm getting a noise in my ears from the excitement, and it's impossible for me not to marry. I ought to lead a quiet and regular life. I suffer from palpitations. I'm excitable and always getting awfully upset. But the worst of all is the way I sleep. I no longer get into bed and begin to go off when suddenly something in my left side gives a pull, and I can feel it in my shoulder and my head. I jump up like a lunatic, walk about a bit, and lie down again. But as soon as I begin to get off to sleep, there's another pull.
Well, there, it's you! Papa said, go, there's a merchant come for his goods. How do you do, Ivan?
How do you do, Natalia?
You must excuse my appearance. We were shelling peas for drying. Why haven't you been here for so long? Sit down!
No, thank you.
Won't you have some lunch?
No, thank you. I've already eaten.
Well then, smoke.
Okay. You see, honored Natalia, the fact is, I've made up my mind. Ask you to hear me out. Okay, of course, you'll be surprised and perhaps even angry, but it's awfully cold.
What's the matter? Well?
I shall try to be brief. You must know, Natalia, that I have long, since my childhood in fact, had the privilege of knowing your family. My late aunt and her husband, from whom, as you know, I inherited my land, always had the greatest respect for your father and your late mother. The Lomovs and the Chubakovs have always been the most friendly, and I might almost say the most affectionate regard for each other. And as you know, my land is a near neighbor of yours. you will remember that my oxen meadows touch your birchwoods.
Excuse my interruption. You say my oxen meadows, but are they yours?
Yes, mine.
What are you talking about? Oxen meadow are ours, not yours.
They're mine, Natalia.
Well, I never knew that before. How do you make that out?
How? I'm speaking of those oxen meadows, which are wedged in between your birchwoods and the burnt marsh.
Yes, they're ours.
No, you're mistaken. They're mine.
Just think about it. How long have they been yours?
How long? As long as I can remember.
Really? You won't get me to believe that.
Oxen meadows, it's true, they were once the subject of dispute. However, everybody knows that they're mine. There's nothing to argue about.
No, both my grandfather and great-grandfather reckon that their land extended to the burnt marsh, which means oxen meadow are ours. I don't see what there's to argue about. It's simply silly.
I'll show you the documents, Natalia.
No, they're mine.
Natalia, I don't want the meadows. I'm acting on principle. If you like, I'll make you a present of them.
I can make a present of them myself because they're mine. Your behavior, Yvonne, is strange, to say the least. Up until now, we've always thought of you as a good neighbor and a friend.
Then you make you make it out that I'm a land grabber? Madame, I've never in my life have I grabbed anybody else's land. And I shan't allow anybody to accuse me of having done so. Oxen meadows are mine.
It's not true, they're ours.
Mine. They're mine. You understand? They're mine.
You can argue all you want in your own house, but here I must ask you to restrain yourself.
If it wasn't, Madame, for this awful, excruciating palpitation, if my whole inside wasn't upset, I'd talk to you in a different way. Oxen meadows are mine.
Ours!
Mine!
Ours!
Mine!
What's the matter? What are you shouting at?
Papa. This gentleman, who owns the oxen meadows? We or he?
Darling, the meadows are ours.
But please, Stepan Spinach, how can they be yours? Do be a reasonable man. My aunt's grandmother gave the meadows for the temporary and free use of your grandfather's peasants. The peasants used the land for 40 years and got accustomed to it as if it were their own. When it happened that...
Excuse me, you forget just this, that the peasants didn't pay your grandmother and all that, because the meadows were in dispute, and so on. And now everybody knows that they're ours. It means that you haven't seen the plan.
I'll prove to you that these are mine.
You won't prove it.
I shall.
You won't prove anything just by yelling. I don't want anything of yours and don't intend to give up what I have. Why should I? And you know, my beloved, that if you propose to go on arguing about it, I'd much sooner give up the meadows to the peasants than to you. There!
I don't understand. How have you the right to give away somebody else's property?
You may take it that I know whether I have the right or not, because, young man, I'm not used to being spoken to in that tone of voice, and so on. I, young man, am twice your age, and ask you to speak to me without agitating yourself, and all that.
No, you just think I'm a fool and want to have me on. You call my land yours, and then you want me to talk to you calmly and politely? Good neighbors don't behave like that, Stepan. You're not a neighbor, you're a grabber.
What's that? What did you say? What did you say, sir?
Oxen meadows are ours. I shan't give them up. Shan't give them up. Shan't give them up.
We'll see about that. I'll have the matter taken to court, and then I'll show you.
To court? You can take it to court and all that. You can. I know you. You're just on the lookout for a chance to go to court and all that. You petty flogger. All your people were like that. All of them.
Never mind about my people. The Lomovs have all been honorable people, and not one has ever been tried for embezzlement like your grandfather.
You Lomovs have had lunacy in your family, all of you.
Oh!
Your grandfather was a drunkard, and your younger aunt, Nastasia Mikhailovna, ran away with an architect.
And your mother was humpbacked. Pulling at my side.
Your father was a guzzling gambler.
You're an intriguer. Oh, it's an open secret that before the last elections you...
It's my hat. It's my hat. And you're just a malicious, double-faced intriguer. Yes.
My heart. Which way? There's the door. Oh, I'm dying. My feet's quite numb.
And don't set foot in my house again.
Take it to court, we'll see.
Devil take him.
What a rascal. What trust can we have in one's own neighbors after that?
The villain, the scarecrow.
The monster. First he takes our land, then he has the impudence to abuse us?
And that blind hen, yes, that turnip ghost has the confounded cheek to make a proposal and so on. What? A proposal.
What proposal?
Why, he came here so as to propose to you.
To propose? To me? Why didn't you tell me before?
Your evening clothes, the stuffed sausage, the wizened face of cum.
To propose to me?
Bring it back! Bring it back! Bring it back! Bring whom?
Quick, I'm ill!
What's that? What's the matter with you? Oh, unhappy man I am. I'll shoot myself. I'll hang myself. Send for her.
Bring it back!
To fool at once, don't yell. She's coming and so on. Devil take him. He's coming, I tell you. Oh, my Lord, Lord to be the father of a grown-up daughter. I'll cut my throat. I will indeed. We cursed him, abused him, drove him out, and it's all you. You!
No, it's your fault!
I tell you, it's not my fault.
No!
Now you talk to him yourself.
Forgive us, Yvonne. We were all a little heated. I remember Oxen Meadows are really yours.
Heart's beating. My meadow.
Yes, the meadows are yours. Do sit down. We were wrong.
I did it on principle. My land is worth little to me, but principle.
Yes, the principal, just so. Now, let us talk of something else.
I'm thinking of having a go at the Black Cock, honored Natalia, after the harvest. Oh, have you heard? Just think, what a misfortune I've had. My dog Gus, whom you know, has gone lame.
What a pity. Why?
I don't know. Must have gotten twisted or bitten by some other dog. My very best dog, to say nothing of the expense. I gave Mirnov 125 rubles for him.
It was too much, Yvonne.
I think it was very cheap. He's a first-rate dog.
Papa gave 85 rubles for Squeezer, and Squeezer is heaps better than Gus.
Squeezer's better than Gus? What an idea!
Squeezer? Of course he's better. Of course. Squeezer is young. He may develop a bit, but on points and pedigree, he's better than anything even Velosevich has got.
What's the matter now?
Papa, tell us truly, which dog is better, our Squeezer or his Gus?
Squeezer is the best dog in the district for all that, and so on.
But isn't my Gus better? Really? Now, come on.
Don't excite yourself. Allow me. Your Gus certainly has his good points. He's purebred, firm on his feet, has well-sprung ribs and all that. But, my dear man, if you want to know the truth, that dog has two defects. He's old, and he's short in the muzzle.
Excuse me. Let's take the facts, okay? You will remember that on the Marinuski hunt, my Gus ran neck and neck with the Count's dog, while your Squeezer was left a whole vest behind.
He got left behind because the Count's whippering hit him with his whip.
And with good reason. The dogs are running after a fox. When Squeezer goes and starts worrying a sheep, my foot's gone to sleep.
My heart, what sort of hunter are you? You have to go lie on the kitchen and